Welcome back, everyone. Bart and Jennifer Mills back with us today. Movie reviewing time. They did Barbarian. Okay, this one just came out. And this is one of those, I watched the trailer because I haven't seen the movie. I watched the trailer, and then I was told by someone who saw the movie, and then the trailer said that the trailer's deceptive, perhaps intentionally so, because there's so many twists and turns. Bart, does the trailer tell the true tale?
I'm going to even advise people to try not to see the trailer if they can, but it won't throw the movie off for you. This is a movie, we talked about it earlier. The minute we left the movie, the first thing we said to each other was, how the heck are we going to review this? Because you don't want to spoil it for anybody. And this is a movie that just completely turns its back on all its expectations that it sets up for you. So just the trailer doesn't spoil it for you, but do yourself a favor and go in blind.
Yeah, don't read anything, don't watch anything, don't listen to anyone. Go in completely blind, because that's the way to do it.
Okay, so Jennifer, you said you could give a 2-sentence description of the plot. Let's do that.
Yes. All right, so the plot is that a woman rents an Airbnb in Detroit, Michigan. She goes in, and this Airbnb is not what it seems to be.
Interesting. Now, Bart, you said Bill Skarsgård, who I know only as Pennywise the Clown.
Right.
He is, clearly, he's in this as well. And you mentioned, I guess, without giving anything away, he's not what he seems as well, right?
Yeah, I think the fun of this is, again, we have this complete subversion of what we expect about some of the tropes of horror movies, some of the tropes of the storytelling process, and really even the actors that they're using. So you got Bill Skarsgård, who is, of course, the Skarsgård boys in general are pretty menacing men,
right.
And so they do that, it's I believe a Scandinavian thing they pull off. Because, all Scandinavians are menacing by nature. And then you've got, Justin Long, who is the opposite of that, who is America's kind of sweetheart.
Right.
And then you have a really talented young actress, Georgiana Campbell, who we haven't seen a lot of. She did a Black Mirror episode. She's done a couple of British things, yes. Mm-hmm. But really gifted young actress. And so you have all these different actors playing to and against type. And so the audience has to figure out obviously there's always a boogeyman somewhere in a horror movie, but it isn't what you think.
How about Jennifer, jump scares? We talk about that. Somebody told me that saw it that there's kind of an infamous jump scare that they were the only one at the theater that actually laughed out loud because they liked it so much.
There are a lot of jump scares. I mean, there's just a lot of really creepy, you're like, oh, no, don't go there. Don't go, no, and the director plays off of all these other horror movie tropes, don't go in the basement, don't go through that door, but then it plays on that even, it's genius. It's very, very original. It's one of the most original scripts that I can think of for a horror movie that I've seen in a really long time.
Bart, there was apparently a book in the 80s or 90s that came out, and I didn't know this till I saw an interview with the director of this movie about how to write a movie like this, how to get people to love the characters, how to get people to, feel compassion for them. And this director said, well, the first thing I did was take that and I burn it and I threw it in a trash can. And that, you got that sense watching this.
Yeah, it's the old Cat in a Tree book from the 80s or 90s, I think, that every director had to read for a while. And it just turned out to be, it's changed the way we watch movies, or it just set up the formula for movies in such a horrible way. So all you have to do anymore to make an exciting movie is just to ignore the rules. And so Zach Cregger is the director, and he's only done one other movie, and that was some sort of little sex romp years and years ago. And he sort of put himself in director jail. He comes from a comedy background. He did improv. He was in The Whitest Guy, as you know, and done some sitcom work. But it's kind of fun because we're seeing a lot of these guys out of comedy going into horror the same way we just have with the Halloween franchise. And they do subvert the expectations in unique and interesting ways. And I think we're just all hungry right now for unique storytelling, especially on a small level like this. I mean, this is basically a three-hander. There's 3 main actors in the cast, not a whole lot of effects, not a whole lot of gore. And it's really set in mostly one house the whole time. So it wasn't an expensive movie to make. It's making its money back easily. And I think we're seeing the rise of a sort of interesting new director.
Okay, so don't get any clues as to what's going on. Just keep yourself in your panic room if you can until you actually go see this.
And if you don't like horror movies, don't go see
No,
this.
do not
if you don't
see
like
this if
scary
you don't like
movies,
scary movies.
and it's got a little bit of a hip tinge to it. So if you're not a little keen on pop culture, you probably won't dig it either. But and all of a sudden I'm talking like a '70s jazz musician.
Right.
But I would suggest anybody who really wants an exciting afternoon, just go see it.
That was a groovy review. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you guys so much. We'll be back right after this.